Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've been fishing in fish, you probably know how important it is to have the right rod. Well, today we're diving into the best fishing rods you can get in the game. We'll break down everything you need to know, from their stats to the costs, and even what unique perks each rod brings to the table. If you're on the hunt for a rod that's truly worth your seat, this guide will help you choose the one that fits your fishing needs. Now, we've all been there, grinding for hours and wondering if that next rod is really worth the investment. Some rods offer better chances for rarer fish, while others come with perks that can make your life a whole lot easier. So whether you're just starting out or looking to upgrade, stick around because I'll give you the rundown on what rods are absolutely worth spending your hard-earned sea lore on. Let's get fishing. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking rods in fish. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The rods in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: stone rod, lucky rod, buddy bond rod, fast rod, plastic rod, long rod, fisher's rod, flimsy rod, and training rod. Let's talk about the rods in fish, but not the good ones. No, today we're diving into the D tier rods, the ones you probably want to avoid unless you're just starting out or need a bit of a laugh. You know, the ones that make you go, why would I ever choose this? And then, oh wait, I did? First up, we've got the stone rod. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, hey, it's a rod, it must be decent, right? But nope. This one only gives you a 10% luck boost, and trust me, it's not worth the 3,000 $3,000 price tag. If you're trying to catch the big ones, you're gonna want a rod with a little more oomph. So, save your coins and aim for something better. Next, let's talk about the lucky rod. The 70% luck boost is definitely tempting, but there's a catch. It's got a weight limit of only 175 kilograms. This means if you're looking to hook anything larger than a small fish, you're out of luck. With the price of 5,250 sols, it feels like you're paying for luck that doesn't quite come through. It's a nice rod for a certain type of fishing, but not the heavy hitters. Now, the buddy bond rod, I mean, it's not terrible, but here's the thing, you can only get it by inviting a friend to play fish. So unless you've got a buddy who's just as addicted to this game as you are, this rod might just be collecting dust. It's got solid stats for mid-level fishing, but let's be real, it's not the one you'll be using for the long haul. Then we have the fast rod. Don't let the name fool you, it's not as fast as you'd hope. Sure, it boosts your lure speed by 45%, but at the cost of 12% resilience and that pesky 175 kg weight limit again, it just doesn't have what it takes to reel in those larger fish. And with the price of 2,000 CLOs, it's a bit of a meh option when you start upgrading. Plastic rod is another rod that doesn't really do much for you. While it's a slight improvement over the flimsy rod, it's still not worth its 900 $900 price tag. If you're spending that kind of cash, you might as well save up a little more and get something that will actually help you catch something decent. Lastly, we've got the flimsy rod and training rod. Both are super cheap, but they're not much better than the fishing pole you'd find in a dollar store. The flimsy rod has 0 bonuses, making it pretty useless once you're past the first couple of levels. And the training rod, though affordable at 300 CR sols, is only good for beginners learning the ropes of fish. You'll outgrow it faster than you can say catch of the day. So there you have it. If you're serious about fishing and fish, steer clear of these rods unless you're just starting out or trying to challenge yourself. Trust me, you'll thank me later when you're reeling in those giant fish with a much better rod. The rods in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: carbon rod, haunted rod, candy cane rod, astral rod, event horizon rod, north star rod, antler rod, rapid rod, fortune rod, magma rod, and fungal rod. Alright, let's dive into the world of rods in fish. Now, not every rod is going to make you feel like an absolute fishing legend, but some do have their quirks. So, let's talk about some of the rods sitting in the C tier. These rods aren't terrible, but they're also not exactly game changers either. Let's take a closer look. First up, we've got the carbon rod at just 2,000 $2,000. It's one of the most affordable rods you can grab, and it gives you a 25% luck boost. Sounds good, right? Well, not quite. The performance just doesn't keep up with the higher tier rods, so it's best for those starting out, but may leave you wanting more once you start upgrading your gear. Then there's the haunted rod, which is an interesting one. It's special because it lets you catch the chastely and sinister fish, which were only available during the 2024 Fish Fry event. To get it though, you had to complete the event quest, so it's pretty niche. If you missed the event, well, this rod is going to be a bit of a mystery to you, but if you've got it, it does have that cool event exclusive vibe. Next, let's talk about the candy cane rod. Now this one's needed to get the festive driftwood, and that's crucial for crafting Krampus's rod. Without it, it's a pretty average rod. If you're not into crafting or haven't unlocked Krampus's rod yet, you can probably skip this one and save your coins for something more powerful. The Astral Rod is up next. It has a nice passive that can help you earn a little extra money, but honestly, it's not the best at what it does. The stats are decent enough, but nothing to write home about. If you're into money making while fishing, you might consider this rod, but there are certainly better options out there for pure performance. Speaking of same old, we have the Event Horizon Rod. It's pretty much just the Astral Rod with a slightly different name. It's got the same stats and the same passive, so don't expect anything groundbreaking. If you've got it, great, but don't stress about getting it if you're looking for top tier results. Now the North Star rod is an interesting one. For a free rod, its stats are actually above average, which is pretty cool, but here's the catch. There are some cheap rods that outperform it, so while it's nice to have as a freebie, you might want to move on to something better once you can afford it. The Antler rod sounds promising with its 25% chance to catch jolly fish, which have a 1.3x value. That's a decent boost for your fishing earnings, right? But the thing is, the passive just isn't enough to make this rod worth holding onto for too long. If you're fishing for profit, there are better options out there. Last but not least, we've got the Rapid Rod. The 72% lure speed boost is fantastic for those of you who want to fish fast. But there's a catch, the 20% resilience. This rod is best for speed fishing, but it's not the most versatile, and it will cost you 14,000 $14,000 at Roslip Bay. If you're all about that fast-paced action though, it's definitely worth a look. And that wraps up our dive into the C-tier rods in fish. These rods aren't bad, but they're also not the ones you'll be holding onto for the long haul. If you're just getting started or looking for something specific, they might do the trick, but otherwise, keep your eyes peeled for the better options up ahead. The rods in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Wisdom Rod, the Lost Rod, Nocturnal Rod, Midas Rod, Magnet Rod, Relic Rod, Scurvy Rod, Riptide Rod, Resourceful Rod, Frost Warden Rod, Fishmass Rod, and Frostfire Rod. Let's talk about some of the rods in fish that sit comfortably in the B tier. Now, don't get me wrong, these rods have their charm, but they're just not quite the stars of the show. They can get the job done, but when compared to the top tier rods, well, they're a bit meh. So, grab your fishing hat and let's dive into the rods that need a little extra love. First up, we've got the Wisdom Rod. It costs a whopping $50,000 C to craft, and while it gives decent EXP, its stats are pretty underwhelming. You'd expect more for that price, right? Sure, it's great for leveling up, but when it comes to actually catching those rare fish, you might want to look elsewhere. Then there's the Lost Rod, which has a similar vibe. Its stats are nothing to write home about, except for one thing, the weight limit. That's right, this rod can carry quite a bit, but again, that's about it. If you're looking for something more well-rounded, this one might not be the best fit for your collection. Next, we have the Nocturnal Rod. And here's where things get interesting. This rod gives a sweet 70% luck boost, and with a 2,000 Kiru weight limit, it's ideal for those night-specific fish. But here's the kicker, it's available in Vertigo for just $11,000 $11,000. It's not a bad rod by any means, especially if you're after those rare night catches, but for everything else, there are better options out there. Now, if you're after a little more power, the Midas rod might catch your eye. It has a solid 1,000 Kiru weight limit and a small 25% lure speed boost. But hold up, it comes with a 25% resilience penalty and costs 55,000 $50,000, which really holds it back. If you're looking to catch something big, you might want to save up for a rod with better resilience and stats across the board. Let's talk about the Magnet Rod, which is another rod that falls into the good but not great category. It offers a solid 55% lure speed boost and an impressive 10,000 Kiru weight limit, but here's the catch, it lacks luck and resilience. That means while you can cast quickly and haul in heavy fish, you might miss out on some of the rare ones. You'll find it at Terrapin Island for 15,000 $15,000, but is it worth the price? That depends on what you're fishing for. Then there's the Relic Rod, which is a bit of a hidden gem for its price. At just 8,000 $8,000, it provides a 25% luck boost and a 2,500 Kiru weight limit. It's a solid choice for early to mid game, especially if you're still building your rod collection. The best part? You can upgrade it with an enchantment to give it some extra power. Not too shabby. The Scurvy Rod is another rod with a 50% luck boost and a 2,000 Kiru weight limit. it's a decent rod, but when you factor in that it costs 50,000 CLOs, it starts to look a bit overpriced compared to other options. If you've got the money to burn, sure, go for it. But there are better rods at a lower price point that offer more bang for your buck. Lastly, the Riptide rod and Resourceful rod are both rods that have their uses, especially when you consider their passives. The Riptide rod has some low stats, but if you nail perfect casts, it can boost those numbers a bit. The Resourceful rod's passive extra lure stats can be really handy, but overall, their fish is still not as reliable as some of the top tier rods. They're fun to use, but not your go-to choice for serious fishing. So, while these B-tier rods have their perks, they're still not the ones you'll be relying on for every fishing session. They can get the job done, but if you're serious about catching those rare fish, you'll probably want to save your $5 for something a little more powerful. But hey, they're great for experimenting and having a little fun, and who knows, you might just find the perfect fit for your fishing style. The rods in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: King's Rod, Summit Rod, Reinforced Rod, Phoenix Rod, Precision Rod, Steady Rod, Seasons Rod, and Krampus's Rod. Alright, let's dive right in and talk about some of the A-tier rods in fish. These rods might not be as flashy as S-tier, but trust me, they're still absolute powerhouses in their own right. Whether you're aiming for heavy catches or boosting your luck, these rods can seriously level up your fishing game. First up, we've got the King's Rod. Now, this rod is a beast, no joke. It has infinite weight capacity, so you can reel in the heaviest fish without a problem. Add to that a 50% luck boost, and you've got yourself a tool that will seriously improve your chances of snagging rare catches. It does come with a hefty price tag of 120,000 CLOs, but it's totally worth it for the control and efficiency it gives you while fishing. If you've got the cash, don't hesitate. Next, we've got the Summit Rod. Think of this as a slightly more chilled version of the Northern Expedition rods. It doesn't do anything too crazy, but it holds its ground with some solid stats. If you're looking for a reliable choice that won't break the bank, this is it. It's perfect for those who want something dependable without needing to spend a fortune. Now, for those looking for a bit more consistency, the Reinforced Rod is a great pick. With infinite weight capacity and a 15% luck boost, it's excellent for making sure you get good catches on the regular. Plus, it's available for just 20,000 CLOs in the Desolate Deep, which makes it an affordable option with solid performance. It's a rod that gets the job done, no complaints. Let's talk about a rod with a bit of flair, the Phoenix Rod. This one's unique because it gives you a 40% chance of catching a scorched fish. Yep, it adds a whole new mutation to fish. It doesn't have the highest stats for lure speed or luck, but it's still a solid rod to have in your collection if you want that little extra thrill in your catches. If you're a budget player who still wants some fantastic stats, the Precision Rod is your new best friend. For just 7,000 CLOs and a few special materials, you can craft this rod and it will give you a whopping 150% luck. Seriously, that's insane for the price. If you don't mind crafting it, this rod will give you a ton of bang for your buck. For those of you aiming for something reliable for heavier fish, check out the Steady Rod. It has a nice 35% luck boost and 30% resilience, making it a solid option for big catches. Plus, it has a 10,000 kilo weight limit, so you can really push the limits of what you're able to reel in. Available for 7,000 CLOs at Roslet Bay, this rod is a great choice for anyone who wants a reliable workhorse. Alright, let's not forget about Krampus's Rod. This one's great if you're focusing on those heavier fish because it comes with infinite weight capacity and excellent control. The only downside is its luck is pretty low, so it's not the best for fishing rare catches. But if you're all about those big fish, this rod definitely has your back. Last but not least, we have the Crystallized Rod. It's a decent all-around rod with a little bit of everything, including a money-making passive. The thing is, while it's solid, it doesn't stand out enough to outshine the other mid-game rods you might already have. Still, if you're looking for something versatile and reliable, it's worth considering, especially for those mid-game phases. So there you have it. These A-tier rods may not have the spotlight like S-tier, but they're perfect for improving your fishing performance without needing to break the bank. If you've got one of these rods in your collection, you're already on your way to dominating those fishing spots. Happy fishing! The rods in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Aurora Rod, Mythical Rod, Celestial Rod, Voyager Rod, Ice Warper's Rod, Arctic Rod, Avalanche Rod, Destiny Rod, and Sunken Rod. Alright folks, let's dive into the world of rods and fish, but not just any rods. We're talking about the S-tier rods, the absolute game changers, the rods you'll need if you want to catch those elusive, mythical, and exotic fish. Trust me, these rods are the key to unlocking some of the best treasures in the game. Let's start with the Aurora rod, shall we? This one's a bit of a headache to get, but if you manage to pull it off, you're in for a treat. First, you've got to grab an Aurora totem for 500,000 salda. Ouch, right? Then, you head to Vertigo and fork out 90,000 dollars for the rod itself. It's worth it though, especially with that 15% chance for an Aurora mutation on every fish you catch. It's like a little bonus mystery every time you reel in a fish. Next up, the mythical rod. If you're serious about going after those mythical tier fish, this rod is your best friend. It's a little steep at 110,000 silos, but with a 2,000 kilo weight limit and a 45% luck boost, you'll be able to reel in those big boys and rare fish without breaking a sweat. And let's not forget, it also makes catching legendary and exotic fish way easier. This rod's got your back when you're on the hunt for the rarest catches. Now, let's talk about the Celestial rod. It's not the flashiest, but it's one of the most well-rounded rods out there. Crafting this bad boy is definitely worth it if you're looking for a reliable rod that can handle anything you throw at it. It's not overpowered, but it's got solid stats, making it perfect for those who want a balanced rod that can do it all. For all you treasure hunters out there, the Sunken rod is your golden ticket. This thing comes with a 150% luck boost and a 5,000 kilo max weight limit, making it perfect for your treasure hunts. How do you get it? Well, it's a bit of a scavenger hunt in itself. You'll need to fish up treasure maps and then solve their coordinates to find this rod. But trust me, the payoff is totally worth it. If you're looking for a more straightforward option, the Voyager rod is a solid choice. It doesn't have any crazy perks like some of the other rods, but it's got decent stats and a pretty nice passive that helps with money making. It's not a top tier rod, but if you want something reliable that gets the job done without too much hassle, this one's for you. The Ice Warpers rod, Arctic rod, and Avalanche rod are all part of the same family, but each one has its own slight differences. All of them have great stats, and while they don't have a ton of passive abilities, their solid performance more than makes up for it. If you're looking for raw power and reliability, any of these three rods will do the trick. Just know that the Avalanche rod doesn't reach 100% lure speed with hasty like the others, so keep that in mind. And last but definitely not least, we have the Destiny rod. This rod is a beast, and it comes with a hefty price tag of 190,000 dollars. But here's the kicker, its massive 250% luck boost is unmatched. If you're hunting for those mythical fish or rare exotic tier items like the Depths Key, this rod will make your life so much easier. It's definitely a rod you want in your collection if you're serious about fishing and fish. So there you have it. The S tier rods in fish are not just for looks, they're powerful tools that can help you catch the rarest fish and items in the game. Whether you're into mythical fish, treasure hunting, or just want something reliable, these rods will take your fishing game to the next level. Happy fishing, and may the luck of the rods be with you. The rods in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Heaven's Rod, Rod of the Eternal King, Rod of the Forgotten Fang, Rod of the Depths, No Life Rod, and Trident Rod. Alright, let's talk about the ultimate rods in fish, and no, I'm not talking about those flimsy sticks you find at the start of the game. We're diving deep into the world of S+ tier rods, the kind that make even the most seasoned players do a double take when they see them in action. These rods are the cream of the crop, the true MVPs of fishing in fish. Let's get into it. First up, we've got the Heaven's Rod. Now, don't get it twisted, it may not have the lure speed of the Rod of the Eternal King, but it's still a beast in its own right. With impressive stats across the board, this rod's perfect for players who want power without compromise. The one thing it lacks is that speed, but honestly, you won't feel it too much if you're not going for the absolute top tier catch speeds. And speaking of Rod of the Eternal King, this one is, well, the rod in fish. We're talking about the rod that's so good, it might as well have been forged by the gods of fishing themselves. Amazing stats across the board, plus a nice money-making passive that makes it a total game changer. If you're serious about fishing and want the best, this one is as close to perfection as you can get. Now, if you're feeling adventurous and you've put in the time, you're going to want to check out the Rod of the Forgotten Fang. This isn't just any fishing rod, it's an exclusive, craftable rod that requires you to hit level 750 before you can even think about making it. And let me tell you, it's worth the grind. This rod has all positive stats, no drawbacks, and is a total powerhouse. Sure, it's pricey to craft at 300,000 cells, but once you have it in your hands, it feels like you've unlocked a cheat code for fishing. But if you're all about that deep sea fishing life, you're going to want the Rod of the Depths. This one has a crazy lure speed of 65%, plus a 130% luck boost and a hefty 30,000 kg weight limit. It's designed for those deep dives into the ocean, and let's be real, it's practically built for players who want to catch the big boys. You'll have to complete a maze in the depths to get it, and it'll cost you a cool 750,000 silos. But once you snag it, you'll feel like a true fishing pro. And for those of you who've hit level 500, the No Life rod is going to be your best friend. This rod is nothing short of a monster. 90% lure speed, 100% luck boost, and get this, infinite weight capacity. That's right, you can haul in anything with this beauty, and it's perfect for those looking to fish for hours without worrying about weight limits. It's truly the endgame rod for experienced players, and once you've got it, your fishing game will be on another level. Last but definitely not least, we've got the Trident rod. This bad boy boasts 100% luck, 20% lure speed, and a hefty 6,000 kg weight limit. It's ideal for those rare fish that only come around once in a blue moon. You'll need to complete the Desolate Deep bestiary and solve a special puzzle to unlock it, but it's totally worth it. With this rod, you'll be hauling in rare catches like a pro in no time. So whether you're grinding for the best of the best or just looking to upgrade your fishing game, these S+ tier rods are your ticket to ultimate fishing success in fish. Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and happy fishing, ahis. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.